Yo, what's up, guys? Alright, so today is another breakdown video about the trade that got me funded. Alright, so this is on today, which is 16th of April. Alright, so going into the day, let me just clear everything. Alright, going into the day, it was a super hectic day. Right, we were finding for setups on NQ, we were finding for setups on gold, right? But none of it was playing out till about 10:40 plus ish, right? So if you guys know how my setup and strategy works, that's cool. If you don't, check out my other YouTube videos. All right, but essentially I'm still going to tell you the basics of how it works, because if I tell you too much, it wouldn't be fair for my VIP members, right? So going into the day, we were just marking out our zones and all that, right? Let me just replay a bit. All right. So before we go into this, right, everything that you need to know about the strategy is in my YouTube. Unless you want to know even further, you want more like source into it, step by step video guided videos, pre-recorded videos, right? Then feel free to join the VIP. All right. But if you think you don't need the VIP, you can still find everything that you need, right, on the YouTube channel. Just go through all the videos. All right, so yeah, let's get into the day. So if you guys don't know, I trade the new 4-hour candle. We trade the accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Everything is the same. I'm sure you have heard about this accumulation, manipulation, and distribution, right? It's commonly thrown out there, but the way I use it is a little different. All right, so it's, you can say it's a mechanical strategy, but going to the day, right, my bias was bearish, thanks to the indicator that I coded, right? So it already told me that okay, we got a depth profile detected. All right, so depth profile basically means it's just gonna keep dropping lower and lower. So essentially I was just finding for sells. All right, so we had a 5-minute gap which was marked out right here, and then we had a 15-minute gap. I believe it's after this, right? Yeah. All right, cool. So we had a 5-minute. We also had a 15-minute around here. Let me find that. Wait, where was my 15 though? I knew I had a 15. Yeah, it was somewhere here. Was it here though? Yeah, I believe it's there. All right. So this is what we had, right? And this is on gold, by the way, MGC. All right. So essentially, we're just waiting for a tap to happen. Right, we're waiting for a tap to happen, and we had a tap right over here. Right, but what happened at this point of time is we also had another 5-minute fair value gap, which was here. All right, so this shows me that okay, the price is just unsure, so I was just waiting for it to do something, which good enough. The next 5-minute closed below that 5-minute gap that it created inside the bullish 5-minute gap. All right, so when I look at 15-minute, I saw okay, cool, I have a 15-minute overlapping the 5-minute. So this automatically just becomes a super high probability zone. And we technically had a setup here, right? So if we move back a little, I believe this was when we had a 5-minute inside the gap, right? So this automatically, number one, gave me the thing that, I'm not comfortable to take it. Number two, we also didn't get a SMT with silver, right? We didn't get a SMT. I don't know if you guys can see this. Can you see it? Yeah. Okay. So we didn't have any SMTs here, so I wasn't willing to take the trade, especially when we have another 5-minute gap there, right? So what happened was it went down still. It still went lower. All right. It still went lower, and I was like, I might take a re-entry. I might not take a re-entry, but I'm not confident in this, right? And just about here, right, as you can see, the price went back up, tap this zone again. So I was waiting for it to respect it, right? We had an SMT, a 2 candle SMT right about here, right? And I was waiting for a break below this, right? That's a CISD. So I was waiting for a CISD right about there, right? Good enough. We got a CISD there. I didn't actually wait for a retest, so I took a trade right over here. Stops be above the high, and this is the most riskiest setup. All right, this I call it the B minus setup, because a setup should happen the moment it taps a gap, not after it re-taps the gap. The moment it re-taps the gap and gives you a setup, that is a B minus setup. So I was still willing to take this because I only needed like $100 to pass the account, so I was just risking 100, so I didn't mind taking it. But if you're risking it big, do not take this kind of a trade. All right, so essentially it's supposed to go for 1:2, right? But as I said, I only needed about 100, right? So I just aimed at 1:1, right? So what happened next was price actually played around a bit, and I was like, all right, it's gonna be a losing trade, right? And then this happened. When this happened, I straight away put my break even, because this was my break even point, right? So I set my break even up here at this imbalance right here, because it might go up to refill this imbalance, and I'm not willing to take too much of a risk. So I was waiting for it to happen, and the next candle just dashed through, and we hit the TP, right? And I believe this was at least a 1:3, yeah. So 1:3. So this is how I essentially trade. If you want to know more about this strategy, just feel free to check my bio. Yeah, the link is in the bio. You can join the Discord there, and if you want to get to the VIP mode, where every pre-recorded video of each step is there. Yeah, I don't know if I said it right, but yeah, you get the idea. It's there, right? So there'll be a section where you can upgrade to VIP in the Discord itself. You can check it out. There won't be much live trading, I gotta be honest with you, because the time difference for me and trading in New York is super long and super different, because I do have to do things on the outside during that hours. So I might not be always at my desktop to do live. So if I'm going live, definitely I'll tell beforehand. But if you're upgrading to VIP, that's one thing to take note. There's no live trades usually. Yeah. So yeah, but with that being said, I do uh post out live trade recaps or trade recaps, right? Yeah. So when I go live, the recaps will be there. And if I just trade without going live, the recaps will still be there. So you can also know my process, what's going through my head while taking the trade, and everything like that. So with that being said, feel free to check out the YouTube channel, subscribe, like, and save the video if you think this video gave you value. If not, look through all my other videos. There's one video where I just give out the whole model, right? But of course, there are sources that happen throughout trading. When I trade live or do a trade recap, that is for my VIP members. And especially, as I said, every single step is pre-recorded inside the VIP mode. So feel free to check out the Discord. If you got any question, hit me up on Discord. And yeah, that's about it. Peace out. See you guys in the next video.